ride, and then we riding, baby. Street say that we so crazy. I don't care, don't you ever try play me. I ain't tight, no test lights. I bring it on my worst nights.
Would you believe me if I told you they were trying to mandate a vaccine? Would you believe me if I told you it could lead to a new world order? Or even possibly the mark of the beast? Would you believe me if I told you that? Would you believe me if I told you that Bill Gates and his foundation, along with Anthony Fauci, the doctor, were behind it? Would you believe me if I told you that? Or you one of those types that don't actually believe everything you see? But would you believe me if I told you that these vaccines were all about the money? And that's all they're about. And to have more of control of the world. Well, I'm going to prove to you that. But before I do that, please be sure to like, share, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. I'm Rob Caesar, baby, and this is Clickbait Media. Let's go. First of all, we'll begin with the vaccine course, where the U.S. government pays people who say they were harmed by vaccines. Now, according to Wikipedia, the National Vaccine Injury Compensation Program is an office of special masters of the U.S. Court of Federal Claims, most widely known as Vaccine Court, which is a no-fault program for litigating vaccine injury claims. Alright, and is did also without a jury. So the program was established in 1986 amongst the National Childhood Vaccine Injury Act, and as of 2019 has only paid out $4.2 billion in compensation. So that means within the last almost 3.5 decades, $4 billion is all they've paid, which is far less than what the pharmaceutical companies have paid for pills, because they've paid far more than that. Which means this is great news for Bill Gates, who announced his foundation would spend billions of dollars to help build facilities for 7 possible coronavirus makers. And spend is the wrong word. It is more like an investment for him. Some might say, why is it an investment? Well, it's easy to tell you why it's an investment, because we can do some easy math. Let's just say a vaccine was $25 and you mandated the world. Well, it'll be about 8 billion people on this earth. At 25 vaccines, that's $2 million. And over a 5-year period, that's $1 trillion, which is a large profit. Bill Gates is the largest contributor behind the U.S. to the WHO, World Health Organization. On their panel, they have Margaret Chin as director, and then Anthony Fauci. So, and you have this guy. But if Trump strips away his funding from WHO, that means that Bill Gates will be the largest contributor to the World Health Organization. So it's pretty much safe to say that Bill Gates is using his money to get in on the vaccine industry, which can't be controlled except through Vaccine Court, which will make him an even richer man than he is. What do you got to say about that? But let's continue.
I do think school will be able to resume in the fall, but I don't think this school year there's going to be any significant attendance. You know, maybe in the summer people would do something special, but that would be very hard to do. As you say, most of the private schools, they're used to online. They've made sure all their students have the device and the connectivity. Different school districts have decided some don't do online learning because it would be unjust in terms of the kids who don't have access. And so that's really a dilemma. There are philanthropists, Ray Dalio, Jeff Bezos, and many others who are trying to fill that gap, get some devices and connectivity out there. But, in the end, the low-income students will be hurt the most by these school closures.
How do you know this, Bill? How do you know that schools won't resume this year, only in the fall? Well, maybe it's because that you're trying to push the issue in the scare tactic of this pandemic so you can push on a world vaccine, not just a country world vaccine. You want the vaccine for the world, for your own profits. And who's helping you? Anthony Fauci. This guy who sits by Trump and now is trying to set the stage for a mandatory vaccine. Mandatory. That means that you are going to have to take it, or they can't go to extreme measures. Let's get into him. So according to Wikipedia, Anthony Fauci is an immunologist that serves as director of the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases since 1984. According to the New York Times, Anthony Fauci says that this country will never go back to normal and never is suggesting that until a vaccine is developed. Also meaning, as you see at the bottom, that it is required list of shots of all children to attend school. So that means they're trying to mandate this damn vaccine. It's going to be another vaccine your children have to take just to go to fucking public school. And this is widely because Bill Gates and Anthony Fauci knew about the coronavirus for years because they've been working on it together along with the Chinese, who also makes all or most of the world's medicine. Which could explain why, according to the New York Times, that the Trump administration says the U.S. is too dependent on China of vital drugs. So, if they make every drug in China, even the vaccines, that's going to put a stronghold for China because the world is dependent on them to make it. All right, Trump has been aggressively pushing the malaria drug hydrochloroquine, said it appears to relieve symptoms quickly. And this is being stated by the New York Times, which also states that the drug offers a speedy recovery that is stated by doctors in China.
And the other thing that we bought a tremendous amount of is the hydroxychloroquine, which I think, as you know, it's a great malaria drug. It's worked unbelievably. It's a powerful drug on malaria, and there are signs that it works on this, some very strong signs.
Yeah, I mean,
I've seen things that I sort of like, so what do I know? I'm not a doctor. But I have common sense.
Okay, so
very quickly, is hydrochloroquine preventative against this virus? Yes or no?
as I've said many times, Margaret, the data are really just at best suggestive. There have been cases that show there may be an effect, and there are others to show there's no effect.
Okay.
So I think in terms of science, I don't think we could definitively say.
Mr. President, as President of the United States, your words carry enormous weight in this country and around the world. And while you acknowledge you're not a physician, you do promote these medicines extensively here. How do you not go so far as to be giving medical advice?
But we don't have time to go and say, gee, let's take a couple of years and test it out. And let's go and test with the test tubes and the laboratories. We don't have time. I'd love to do that. But we have people dying today. As we speak, there are people dying.
The doctors who are treating coronavirus patients, they have the medical expertise to determine whether or not they should prescribe hydroxychloroquine.
And many of them
And
do.
there are already clinical trials in place looking at hydroxychloroquine. So
They should be finished in about a year.
why not just let the science speak for itself? Why are you promoting this drug?
I'm not. I'm just saying,
come
very
out-
simply, I'm not at all. I'm not. Look, you know what I'm trying to do.
Wait, you come out here every day, right? Start talking about the benefits
I
of
want them to try it, and it may work and it may not work. But if it doesn't work, it's nothing lost by doing it, nothing. Because we know long term what I want to save lives. It may not work. In which case, hey, it didn't work. And it may work, in which case it's going to save a lot of lives. Now, a lot of people say if the people walking in prior to getting it, if they take it, it has a profound effect. Well, maybe it doesn't, maybe it doesn't. I don't want to wait a year and a half to find out. And only CNN would ask that question. Fake news. Go ahead.
Sir, I have one for you on my question. Could you also weigh in on this issue of hydroxychloroquine? What do you think about this, and what is the medical evidence?
That question?
Yeah.
Maybe 15 times. You don't have to ask the question.
He's your medical expert, correct?
He's answered that question 15 times.
Dr. Fauci, why are you not wearing a face?
And along to go with that, stated by CNBC, the Mayo Clinic CEO says convalescent plasma could be an effective treatment for the coronavirus. Now, the FDA, which is the Food and Drug Administration, announced that the Mayo Clinic would lead the initiative to test the effects of convalescent plasma in COVID-19 patients. Now, let's see what Anthony Fauci has to say about the convalescent plasma.
Watching television today, heard from a researcher named Dr. Jacob Granville, who's come up with a potential antibody therapy that he has given to USAMRIID. Just wanting to know if you know anything about this, or you might be able to tell people at home about it who've seen it.
You know, John, I don't know specifically this individual, what they're doing, but I can tell you there's a lot of activity that is centered around a passive transfer of antibodies in the form of convalescent plasma. One, the number is to get immune globulin that you precipitate out of the plasma, and another is monoclonal antibody. It's based on the same principle of if you have a protective antibody, passive transfer of that could provide not only protection prophylactically, but also treatment. This is an old concept. In fact, immunology was born decades and decades and decades ago with the concept of giving passive transfer of serum.
I'd like them to go back to the State Department, or as they call it, the Deep State Department, if you don't mind. I'd like to have him go back and do his job. So does anybody have any questions? Please.
So with this, I'd like to ask, what's funny, Dr. Fauci? Why are you downplaying hydrochloroquine? Why are you downplaying convalescent plasma? Even you said that your immunologist experience that it was based on the old principle that was predated. So y'all have been using this. But you want to downplay it. Is it safe to say that you want to push this for this vaccine? You want to say that these two methods are untested. Well, your vaccines are untested. Y'all want to fucking go kill Africans, the testimonies, guinea pigs. We know you work with Bill Gates. We know you work with the World Health Organization in other countries, including China. This is why you downplay it. Because you want to push this vaccine where we're laying money in your pockets along with you, Bill Gates, and even the Chinese, because they are the leaders in making vaccine and medicine.
Can you envision a summer at this point, based on the models, where people are going back to beaches, people are going to baseball games, weddings are happening, reunions are happening? Is that in the cards right now?
When we pull back and try to open up the country, as we often use that terminology, we have to be prepared that when the infections start to rear their heads again, that we have in place a very aggressive and effective way to identify, isolate, contact, trace, and make sure we don't have those spikes that we see now. So the answer to your question is yes, if we do the things that we need to do to prevent the resurgence. That we have in place a very aggressive and effective way to identify, isolate, contact, trace, and make sure we don't have those spikes that we see now.
Last week, Dr. Michael Ryan, he's the leader at the World Health Organization, announced that in response to the spread of this virus, authorities may have to enter people's homes and remove family members, presumably by force.
In most parts of the world, due to lockdown, most of the transmission that's actually happening in many countries now is happening in the household, at family level. In some senses, transmission has been taken off the streets and pushed back into family units. Now we
children and, quote, isolating them in a safe and dignified manner, whatever that means. Now, that's not something that under normal circumstances officials casually drop during briefings. It's the kind of statement that might trigger violence. People don't respond well when you threaten to take their kids.
I'm trying to told y'all now. You. So what y'all got to say about that? Motherfuckers coming in your house fucking with you and your children. And to be the truth, Trump is the only one right now that's trying to save our ass. This motherfucker is actually doing his fucking job. But they're trying to keep us distracted from this. So I can tell you just like this here. These two motherfuckers, along with the WHO, World Health Organization, the CDC, some motherfuckers from China that runs the medical field, or whatever, maybe the goddamn Communist Party or whatever, they plotting to take over the world. They plotting to be in control. They also plotting to kill a lot of motherfuckers. And it's fucking Bill Gates, who is not even a fucking doctor. How the fuck does he put his input in there? I ain't never seen him run for a damn thing. But we getting advice from him? So it's safe to really say Trump is actually doing his job. He's trying to save us from these motherfuckers that's trying to mandate a vaccine that they don't know that will work. They have to go create it because, they created the fucking virus. They created it. And Trump trying to stop him. He's trying to kill us. And it's so ironic how y'all do not see this. They've been lying. Trump tried to close the border as soon as it came out. Dr. Fauci and WHO said don't close them. But now they're trying to peel it back and try to blame it on Trump. Well, he was already on it from the door. They're trying to kill us. I just want to advise y'all better wake the fuck up. Because these motherfuckers are dirty. They trying to keep downplaying Trump. But you can see, look at this motherfucker. He waits to be the last one. So he can congratulate one of his hecklers that heckles Trump with questions and try to get him to look stupid. He is one of the main evil motherfuckers up there. And he is trying to set the goal for the mandatory vaccine. Let's just do it for me, though. I'm Rob Caesar, baby. This is Clickbait Media. Please like, share, subscribe, and comment. Let me know what you think about this. Would you take the vaccine if it's mandated? Would you let them come in your house? And if it's mandated to return to school, would you let them vaccinate your children? Do you believe that there are evil people in this world that just want control? Well, leave me your thoughts about what you think. Is it true or false? And I'm up out of here. Peace.
Ride and then we're riding, baby. Squeak, say that we so crazy. I don't care, don't you ever try play me. I ain't tight, no test lights. I bring it on my worst nights.